After a few quite testing months in 2025, we finally come to a period of blessing, of ease and harmony. May 2025, I have good news for you. We went through Mars, Venus, Mercury retrograde, 2 eclipses, Saturn, Venus conjunctions, very intense influences in the last 3-4 months. But now we're gonna take a breath of fresh air and relief. As you can see, most of the transits and aspects between planets in May are harmonious, trines, sextiles. There are here and there a square, but it's very minimal compared to what we've been going through. We're like a soldier coming out of a battle. And we'll be in the month of May, we'll be recovering, recuperating, improving. Things will start looking up. We're out of the hardest period of 2025. So with this good news, we're gonna have a full moon in Scorpio with opposition with Uranus around the 12th of May, which might be a bit more excitable, unpredictable, intense, like the energy of Scorpio, but pretty much everything around it is fantastic. But the biggest event in May is that towards the end, on the 25th of May, Saturn is moving to Aries for the first time since 29 years, the 1995, 6, something like that it was then. In Aries again, and it will stay there for 3 months this year, and then 26 and 27, the whole 2 years it will be in Aries. So this video will focus on how Saturn, the bad big wolf of astrology, how you can tame it, how you can turn it into a loyal dog that will guard your back and to thrive through this period. So stay with me to see how Saturn will affect you. Actually, if you want to really dive into Saturn in Aries, I've created a 3-hour video plus around 40 pages PDF that covers absolutely every possible influence of Saturn in Aries. Say if you have Venus in Gemini, Saturn will try sextile it, or if you have Libra, Jupiter, Saturn will oppose it, or if you have Cancer, Moon, Saturn will square it. What are the influences on a personal level with many real life stories and remedies and how to overcome it and how to do the best out of it. Just $12. Check it out. I always try to be as affordable as possible. But now let's begin. I'm excited. Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, May 2025. Cancer, Venus is moving into your 10th house where it will stay the whole month. So you can dismay, basically, you can have forward positive ease with your career, with your worldly responsibilities and duties. Maybe someone in power, maybe someone with more authority or a boss can help you reach out to institutions, to people with authority or power over you. It will go smoothly. Venus there is a very good, easy influence. Anything to do with your career. If there were complications before, it will start moving forward, it will improve, it will come with ease. Your reputation can be good if you have something to present, because 10th house is your kind of the most visible house on top of the horoscope if you're here. So do it now to be visible in the public eye in some way. It will be accepted with, positively, let's say. And then Mars is in your 2nd house, which is another earth house, meaning that it's to do with work, with money, with career, just like the 10th house does with your reputation, with your work. Mars in the 2nd house of money, so you can put a lot of energy towards achieving more financial independence this whole month, or towards some financial goals. Or 2nd house is not just finances, it's valuables, to gain some valuables, to gain something, some resources that are important to you. You'd have the fighting spirit to go after it, to secure it, to have more of it, or maybe to go after some goals, how to make more money. So those areas, the 2nd, the 10th house, go quite well for you this month, of material stability, of material growth, of material, and then there can be a bit more spending with Mars in the 2nd house, but it's quite positive, especially for all those mundane things of life, paying bills, your reputation, your work, taking care of duties and responsibilities of any sort, or if you're approaching any figure of authority, as I said, the 10th house might be someone famous, someone in power, someone with more seniority of you. You would be received very positively. Plus, your own beauty will shine to the world there in the 10th house. Now, there is another important event. There is the full moon in Scorpio, which is happening in your 5th house of romance. And its opposition with Uranus. It's happening on the 12th of May, but it can be active for a week after that and even before that. So there can be some spotlight here on the romantic life as well. Maybe some fun date that you can go, maybe some unexpected date because Uranus is opposing, or unexpected opportunity. Even if you're not someone who is dating now, you might be retired or whatever. 5th house is to have fun, to enjoy yourself, to be more spontaneous, to be more childlike, to experience the joy of life. This full moon there in Scorpio, yes, it is intense, it is Scorpio full moon, but that's where your 5th house is after all. Cancers. The way you have fun is more scorpionic, which is more personal, private, more intense. But they can be like the opportunity for you to have some fun, some enjoyment that you didn't expect because of Uranus opposition. They can be also spotlight on your children if you have children. Something important might be happening in the middle of the month for them. Something surprising as well because of the Uranus opposition. And creative projects is also the 5th house. They can become focused for a bit, maybe completing some creative project, or if you're working on some business idea that is yours, seeing results of it or completing it in some way, or like it's forming fully into your head. But it's a good house that the full moon is activating. The house of good karma, and the house of good karma from past lifetimes and this lifetime. So this full moon can really unlock it suddenly. I would say even play the lottery, why not? But it might be good karma in your romantic life as well, or with your children, or just to feel a little bit more joyous in some way. But of course, it is after all Scorpio full moon with opposition with Uranus. There can be some surprising development with your children, with your romantic life, with loved people in your life. Even some kind of secrets that come to the surface there that surprise you, that shock you. So yeah, there is always two sides to the coin. But really the most important event, you won't be feeling it now in May most likely because it's happening towards the end of May, but Saturn is moving into your 10th house. It's been for 2 years into your 11th house, into your 9th house, and it's moving into your 10th house on the top of the horoscope on the 25th of May. But the whole summer you would feel it there. And in September is moving back to your 9th house where you have to, we'll talk about that in September, what you still haven't finished there. But you're going to get a taster now what Saturn in the 10th house will mean for you, especially in 26, 27, and 28, part of 28. Saturn comes to the highest point in your horoscope. You see, if this is you, Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising, when you turn the chart like that, Saturn goes on the top. The boss in the boss house. So that can be great if you've been following the rules of success, if you've been doing the hard work, if you've been committed, if you've been let's say, what is that called, like lawful, because Saturn rules, regulations, the laws, spiritual laws, human laws, divine laws. They're laws that if we break, we have to pay for them. And if you've been breaking some moral, spiritual laws or human laws, then Saturn in the 10th house, let's start with the scary one. Maybe you know a Cancer you really hate. That is a horrible person. Maybe it's not you who is the Cancer rising or Cancer sun. And now it's like Saturn going to the 10th house. They've been doing something bad. They've been taking, they've been taking from their colleagues whatever it's, for example, the achievement, saying they're their own, or something else like breaking some law, moral, spiritual, and you'll see that they'll have to pay for it with Saturn in the 10th house sometime over the next 2-3 years, because their mistakes become very visible. But hopefully you're not, everyone does mistakes. If you've been breaking moral codes of some sort or human laws, they can be Saturn, the 10th house can be fall from grace. And this can be the iron hand of justice, the iron hand, not so much of justice, but of institutions, authorities. This the 10th house is the highest house there of authority. So you might have to pay, like you might have problems with institutions, with authority figures. If you've not been committed to your career, to your job, to your profession, there can be some really hard bosses that appear to show you the negligence there. Or maybe if it's truly you've been walking a path that you no longer need to walk on career-wise, the circumstances in your career will become either unbearable, dissatisfying, to show you that you need to take a new path career-wise, or to correct certain aspects of how you're doing your career. But now let's come to the good part. So yeah, there can be a fall of grace. Say if you've been an asshole boss, suppressing others, whatever, when Saturn is in the 10th house, that's fall from heights, Or if you've not been running your company correctly or properly, again, there can be problems with institutions and whatever. But there is a big but that I've seen, especially with normal, decent human beings. When Saturn goes to the 10th house, it can really reward them. This is the natural house of Saturn, even though it's in Aries. You want a good side of Saturn when it's in your 10th house in Aries, not the bad one, because they can be very cruel bosses at this moment, or problems with father figures, authority figures, or if you've been a good, decent human being, doing whatever has to be done, not breaking any moral, spiritual laws, then big rewards. And they come with extra responsibility. For example, as I've known someone, when Saturn moves their 10th house, they became governor. From a normal lawyer that was, she was just never been famous, whatever, she was just doing very good work, being a good, decent human being, and she got offered position of governor. Very high authority and responsibilities, very high visibility as well. So for some of you who've been doing the hard work in your career, whatever, this can be high position of authority, high position of responsibility. It will come definitely with more duties. It will come with more, it's not gonna be like easy, but it will come maybe with a lot more respectability, with a lot more power, let's say, when Saturn is in the 10th house, while other people might have to edit, redo something about their career. If they're not doing it exactly correct, Saturn is the auditor, the one who quality control. So they can be like, okay, what in my career I need to let go of. For example, when Saturn was transiting my 10th house, I decided to automate all my business. So Saturn makes you very aware of wastefulness. So with your business, with your job, with your career, or with your worldly actions, you might not be working, you might be a stay-at-home mom, or you might be retired, or you might be on, some kind of disability, but still you have duties, responsibilities, worldly actions in life. So, sorry. So Saturn there says like, okay, where am I wasting my energy with those duties, responsibilities, career, worldly actions that I need to correct? And I was like, around that time I said, oh my God, I'm doing everything by hand. I'm checking 2,000 emails per day. I'm sending every course by hand. I need to streamline it. A good word for Saturn in the 10th to remember: streamline. Oh, just Saturn. Streamline, make more elegant, automate. So you might be doing some restructuring of your business, of your work, of your worldly actions, maybe, so you don't waste energy. Saturn wants you to work hard, but smart in particular. Instead of just grinding, you can find ways to really make it elegant, to remove the heavy excess weight from your career, from your work processes, and to make the structure way more elegant, lighter, and productive. So this is a very good time to become more productive for the next 2-3 years in your career, in your work, in your worldly actions. If you're out of work, Saturn can in your 10th house can mean a new job with more responsibilities, with more duties. Also, there can be a boss there as well. Saturn is like older, more difficult, but if you follow the rules, if you do the smart and hard work, big rewards. No one rewards as good as Saturn does. Plus, Saturn rules your 7th house and your 8th house. What can it mean? The rule of the 7th house moving to the 10th house. For Cancer rising in particular can feel it very strongly. This can mean some duty or responsibility that you take together with a partner, maybe doing a business together with a partner, maybe doing maybe your partner helping you towards your career in some way, or maybe some relationship decision that you take really affects your worldly status. Sometimes I've seen Saturn in the 10th house, divorces happening, marriages and divorces. 10th house is your social status. I know marriage is the 7th house, but the 10th house is like your social status in the eyes of others. Are you married? Are you divorced? Are you a boss? Are you a beggar? Like your reputation for. And Saturn there wants to be taken seriously, wants to be respected. So oftentimes with Saturn in the 10th house, people do very serious steps towards their social status, towards their to be recognized, to be respected in society, to feel more important, But sometimes it can be also like I've seen divorces sometimes, or getting married as well. So your social status changes from to more respectable to different status basically. Just know that I'm not saying all Cancers will be getting divorced or getting married, but there is a connection. The ruler of the 7th in the 10th, the ruler of marriage or partnerships in the 10th house of social status, public image. So your public image can really change because of a relationship. Maybe a new relationship comes that really rises your social status in the eyes of others with more respect, more authority, or maybe you get divorced and your social status changes, and your social status becomes like a strong woman or a man that is doing it for themselves, their Saturn, or, or your partner, because Saturn is the 7th house ruler, can become very up in the visible eyes of others for the next 3 years. Like your partner might be somehow either pushing you in your career upwards and forward with achievements and contributing it, hopefully not blocking you, because that's another influence of Saturn. That can be like because a partner might be interfering with your career, with your actions, telling you what to do with your worldly actions, that create some friction. But on the positive side, it's like a partner, business partner, personal partner, another person that is pushing for your success in the world, that is helping you kind of stand out and go towards your goals and your dreams and this highest, achievements there. And it very likely for Cancers, it will be easier to do it together with another, to have bigger financial career success in the next 2-3 years, than rather than just trying to make it on their own, or to get some advice from another at least, or support from a partner. But either your partner pushes up, goes up with more social standing, or you do. Of course, there might be some problems with career, some difficulties. It is normal. There might be some delays, especially if you're not in the right social situation, in the right social standing, in the right social, or in the right career, where this realization, there can be a pressure to decide what is really your priorities in your career. And if you know what they are, Saturn in the 10th can really help you put the hard work to manifest some mission of yours in this lifetime, to achieve something big, to achieve, and it gives you the power to say no instead of, having fun or just laying around watching TV. Saturn in the 10th, your inner boss and your inner authority as well becomes very powerful. You hear it very strongly and you say, okay, I'm not going to waste any more time. It will feel unbearable just wasting your time instead of doing some goal and some project. 10th house can be project, goal. So you might be very busy either with a career or something that is your mission over the next 2-3 years. And it might be connected to a partnership as well that motivates you, or a partner that gets you moving, and mutual finances. And that, by the way, Saturn is also the ruler of your 8th house, transformations, going to the house of career and social status, big transformation, and it might not be an easy one because it's Saturn. It requires effort. It requires you to have a spine and to do some transformation in your career, to do some transformation in your social standing. So there you go, Cancer. If you want to find out a lot more in detail about Saturn transiting Aries, say Saturn will square if you're Cancer, your Sun, Moon, or Ascendant. What does it mean for you? Or maybe you have Venus in Gemini, Saturn will sextile it. Or maybe you have Mercury in Leo, Saturn will trine it. And I walk you through each of those manifestations and what they're best for and what are the best remedies just for $12. I cover all of the possible transits of Saturn through Aries to any other planets you might have around the horoscope. And even if you know no astrology and where your planets are, I'll walk you there, how to find them out. Very simple, very easy, with a lot of practical application. Good luck.